Here's a close-up of the adorable cats. Who wouldn't want to find one of these hanging on the Christmas tree? They are just really cute. So the one that I made, I show how I make it with the face looking forward, and then on video tutorial I also show how you can make the face look to the side. The paws move up and down, so you can position the legs how you want while they're hanging on your Christmas tree. For this crochet project I used my F or 3.75 millimeter crochet hook. For the cat's scarf I used my 6 millimeter crochet hook. And you're also going to need your tapestry needle and a pair of scissors. You're going to need some safety eyes. I have a lot of these blue eyes left over, blue safety doll eyes. The eyes that I used are from Treehouse Studios. They're the 12 millimeter blue animal eyes. The yarn that I chose for the white portions of the cat, the paws, the snout, and the ears, I love this cotton yarn. It has a glittery white look to it. I'm also going to use Effervesce, this lovely beige soft Effervesce yarn for the main color. For my purple cat, I just used some of my leftover Impeccable yarn. So this is an acrylic, 100% acrylic soft yarn that I used for this cat. So you can use, Impeccable has all kinds of different beautiful colors that you could use for the main color for your cat. Another equivalent yarn would be Big Twist yarn. Red Heart yarn would also be good for this project. For the whiskers, I had to use a thinner thread-like yarn. The perfect craft thread that I has all kinds of different colors is Prism craft thread. It comes in a pack of 36 skeins, and I got the pastel collection. One of the cats, I'm going to use this yellowish color for the whiskers, and then this is what it would look like with the black colored for the whiskers. For the cute little nose, I'm just using my pink yarn. But if you're making a pink cat, then you would want to use a different color, of course, for the nose. You could use black for the nose if you wanted. We're going to start by making the snout. So you're going to need your white colored yarn, glittery yarn. Just drape the yarn across your 4 fingers, use your thumb to stabilize, and then wrap the yarn around your 2 middle fingers and hold it in place with your pinky and your thumb. Then just take your crochet hook, go right under those 2 loops around the middle fingers, bring up a loop, yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and go through that loop for a slip knot. Then you're going to place 6 single crochet into the magic circle. This is my third one. So you're just making 6 single crochet. This is my 4th, 5th, and 6th. After you finish the 6 single crochet into the magic circle, just take your forefinger and thumb and grab the base of those 6 single crochet. And then you're going to have these 2 loops on the opposite side. Go ahead and pull on one of them. If it doesn't close, let go and pull on the other one, but this one's closing. Don't worry if you don't get it completely closed. We can close it more later. Then just take your loose yarn end and pull on that. Don't pull it too tight. Like I said, we can close it more later because you're going to have to turn your work to make 2 single crochet into that first stitch. So you take your crochet hook, go into that first stitch, and then you're going to place 2 single crochet into the same stitch, and you're going to place 2 single crochet into every stitch around for a total of 12 stitches. So I'm just going to make one more set with you. I just finished 2 stitches in one. I'm going to make 2 single crochet into the next stitch. So go ahead, finish making 2 single crochet into every stitch until you have a total of 12 stitches, and then come back. Now you can take and turn your work over and pull on that loose yarn end to close the center of the magic circle. Then just take your loose yarn end, some scraps of yarn or a yarn marker. You can use a regular yarn marker if you want. I just use one of my scraps. Place it right where you left off, and then you're going to make 1 round of 1 single crochet in every stitch. So only 1 round of 1 single crochet in every stitch, which means that you'll have 12 stitches when you get back to your yarn marker. Then you can take and remove your yarn marker. You're going to make a slip stitch into the next stitch over. So just go into the next stitch over, then yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and bring the yarn through both loops on the hook. Then we're going to finish off, so you just yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and go through that loop and bring enough yarn through to help sew the snout onto your cat. Now you're going to take your snout and we're going to put the 2 sides, the white portion of the snout on both sides. So you're going to take where you finished off and just move that up so it's facing up. Then we're going to work on to the left of that loose yarn end, and you're just going to take and put your crochet hook into the stitch right next to that where you finished off. You're going to join the white yarn, bring up a loop, chain 1, and then just tie a knot. So you can use where you finished off, you can use that yarn end to tie a knot. Then make sure you grab the yarn attached to the skein, and then you're going to make a single crochet into the same stitch, and then you're going to make a single crochet into the next stitch, and then into the next stitch. Then chain 1, turn your work, and then you're not going to make a single crochet into the same stitch. You're going to go into the next stitch over and make a single crochet, and you should only have 3 stitches on this row. And then chain 1, turn your work, go into the next stitch over for a single crochet, and then the next stitch over. Then you can go ahead and finish off. So just yarn over and pull enough yarn through to sew this end onto the cat. So we finished one side. Now we're going to do the exact same thing on the opposite side. So just turn your work up again. You can see how we finished the one side. Now you're just going to count over 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and then join the yarn the same way that you did on the opposite side. So I just joined my yarn on the opposite side. Now I'm going to go into the same stitch and make a single crochet. Go into the next stitch, make a single crochet, and then into the next stitch, then you're just going to chain one, and then you're going to repeat just like you did on the opposite side. I'm just going to go ahead and finish it with you. I'm only going to make 3 rows, just like on the opposite side, so they look the same. And there's 3 stitches on each row. Then I can go ahead and finish off, and I'm just going to pull enough yarn through to sew this side onto the cat as well. Then you have the snout, the portion of the snout where we're going to make the nose. So now I'm going to show you how to make the nose and the whiskers. Go ahead and get your yarn of choice that you want for the nose and put it onto your tapestry needle. Then you're going to take your snout. I have the right side facing me. I'm going to take my tapestry needle and go from the wrong side and come up right above the magic circle. So here you could see the magic circle, and I'm coming up right at the top right corner. You can see right where I'm coming out. And then just bring the tapestry needle and yarn through. Make sure you leave enough yarn on the back for tying a knot. Then take your tapestry needle and you're going to go straight across. So I'm still right above the magic circle. And I'm going to go back in. And then you have the top part of the nose. Go ahead and turn your work over and just tie a knot. So I've tied a knot on the back, and I'm just kind of holding the loose yarn end to the side so it doesn't get too tangled up as I'm making the nose. Then you're just going to take your tapestry needle and you're going to come up from the wrong side and I'm coming right at the bottom of the magic circle. So you can see the magic circle right in the center, and there's the center where we close the magic circle. I'm coming right at the base or the bottom because I'm going to form a triangle. So I'm going to go back up where I went in initially. Then I'm going to go on the opposite side and then go down to complete the triangle. Then you're just going to take and fill the center of the triangle. So just come in the center of the triangle and then just completely fill the center of the triangle with your pink yarn and then come back. This is what mine looks like so far, and I've already tied a knot on the back and just clipped the loose yarn ends so that they'll be buried on the inside when we're ready to sew the snout on. Now you're just going to need your prism thread, whatever color that you want. I'm using yellow for the whiskers, but you can use black too, or whatever color you want for your cat's whiskers. Then you're just going to take the snout and have the right side facing towards you. Here's the bottom of the nose. I'm just going to go right to the stitch just to the right beneath the nose, about a row down. I'm going to come through with my yarn. Make sure you leave enough on the back, again, for tying a knot. Then just go up for the top whisker. You want to go right up. Make sure it doesn't get all tangled. And it's really light, so I might go a couple of times. The black yarn, you won't need to do that. You just need to go once. You can see how the loose yarn ends, you just have to keep the loose yarn ends from getting tangled. Make sure you keep the one for tying a knot straight. And then I'm just going to go in the exact same spot. And then I have one whisker in place. Now I'm going to go right back through to the center. Make sure you're in the same spot where you went in. You're just going to come back through. Boy, I'm just really tangling up everything on this one. Just pull through. Then you're just going to take and go straight across. So straight across for the second whisker. And of course, just untangle if you have all your loose yarn ends. And then you can see how it's a little bit lighter, so I'm going to go twice. So I finished my second whisker. Now you're going to go right into the same spot. Make sure you get in the same spot that you went in for the two upper portions of the cat whiskers. Make sure you're not getting tangled, all of your loose yarn ends. I'm going to go ahead and untangle mine. Then you're going to take and go down to form the last whisker. And I'm going to go twice into the same. Then you can just go ahead and tie a knot, and then you're going to repeat the same thing on the opposite side. This is what my cat whiskers look like so far. And now we're ready to make the cat head. For the head of the cat, you're going to take whatever main color you want, drape the yarn across your 4 fingers, use your thumb to stabilize, then wrap the yarn around your 2 middle fingers and then hold it in place with your pinky and your thumb. We're going to make the magic circle. Take your crochet hook, go ahead and bring up a loop, and then yarn over, turn the hook upside down and go through that loop for your slip knot. Then you're going to make 6 single crochet into the magic circle, just like you did for the snout. Then you're going to hold the base of those 6 single crochet. Go ahead and close your magic circle, not too tightly. Remember, we need to get into that first stitch. Go ahead and turn your work. And then you're going to make 2 single crochet into each stitch around until you have a total of 12 stitches, just like for the snout. And then come back. Now you can go ahead and turn your work over and close the magic circle if you need to. Then you're going to get your yarn marker. We're going to make 4 increase rounds, which means that for each increase round you're going to be increasing the number of stitches around the circles. So far we have 12. So for the first increase round, you're going to make 1 single crochet into the first stitch, and then 2 single crochet into the second stitch. And then you're going to repeat that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker, 1 single crochet into the first stitch, and then 2 single crochet into the second stitch. Go ahead, repeat that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker. You should have a total of 18 stitches around your circle. Go ahead and move your yarn marker up for the next increase round. For this next increase round, you're going to make 1 single crochet into 2 stitches, and then 2 single crochet into the third stitch. Then repeat that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker. 1 single crochet into 2 stitches, and then 2 single crochet into the third stitch. You should have had 24 stitches for that last round. Go ahead and move your yarn marker up, and for the next increase round you're going to make 1 single crochet into 3 stitches and then 2 single crochet into the fourth stitch. Then repeat that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker. For that last round you should have had 30 stitches. Then just go ahead and move your yarn marker up for the last increase round. 1 single crochet into 4 stitches, and then 2 single crochet into the fifth stitch. Then repeat that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker. Now you should have a total of 36 stitches around. We're finished with the increase rounds, which means that for each round that you make now, you should have 36 stitches every time you cross the yarn marker. Go ahead and take your yarn marker and move it up. Now you're just going to make 1 single crochet in every stitch around. When you get to the yarn marker, you're not going to remove it. You're just going to leave it in place so you can keep track of what round you're on. So you're going to make 1 single crochet in every stitch around for 10 rounds. And your yarn marker will help you keep track of the count. So you can see how I've reached my yarn marker and I've completed 1 round. I'm just going to keep going. I'm not going to remove the yarn marker and continue on to my second round, making 1 single crochet in every stitch. And soon you're going to form a cup for the head of the cat. Now after you finish your 10 rounds, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, then you can just leave a little bit of a loop. We're going to come back to that. And then go to the opposite side. Go ahead and bring your loose yarn ends through to the inside. I've already brought some of them through to the other side and tied a knot and cut some of the loose yarn ends short and then left the long ones to help me sew it in place. Then you're just going to line up the longer ends with the bottom row and then just sew the snout in place, making sure that you keep your whiskers and your nose straight. This is what my snout looks like after sewing it on, and all of the loose yarn ends have been trimmed on the inside. Now I'm going to place the eyes, the safety eyes. For my eyes, I placed them on both sides of the snout. For this style of yarn, I have about 4 stitches in between the eyes, but on the other style, I only have 3 stitches. So it'll depend on the type of yarn that you use, but make sure that the eyes are placed on both sides of the snout. Again, this is what my eyes look like, and on the inside I have the safety latches in place. Now we're ready to close the head. Go ahead and go back to where you left off. Take your yarn marker, move it up, place it right where you left off, and we're going to start our first decrease round. For the first decrease round, you're going to make 1 single crochet into 4 stitches. And then you're going to make your decrease stitch, or single crochet 2 stitches together. Just take your crochet hook, go into the next stitch and bring up a loop. 2 loops on the hook. Then go into the next stitch, bring up a loop. Now you have 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, turn the hook upside down and go through all 3 for a decrease stitch. And then you're going to repeat that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker. I'm going to make one more set with you. 1 single crochet into 4 stitches. Then you're going to make your decrease stitch or single crochet 2 stitches together. Then repeat that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker. For that round, you should have had 30 stitches, so you could see why they call it a decrease round, because you're decreasing the number of stitches as you close. You can stuff the cat head at any time now, so just take any of your craft stuffing. I just use an inexpensive pillow for my craft stuffing. And then just stuff it as you close. For the next decrease round, you're going to take your yarn marker and move it up. Then you're going to make 1 single crochet into 3 stitches. And then you're going to make your decrease stitch. So go into the next stitch, bring up a loop, next stitch, bring up a loop, yarn over and go through all 3 for a decrease stitch. And then you're going to repeat that pattern all the way around. 1 single crochet into 3 stitches, and then your decrease stitch. Then you can see if you're making your decrease stitches correctly, the hole is getting smaller and smaller. And then you can just take your craft stuffing and just stuff the head as you're closing, making sure that you have enough craft stuffing in the head before you completely close. For the next decrease round, you're going to make 1 single crochet into 2 stitches and then your decrease stitch. Then repeat that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker. Then 1 single crochet and then your decrease stitch, repeating that pattern all the way around. I'm just going to work this round with you so you can kind of see how I hold my fingers as I make my stitches around. So I'm making 1 single crochet and then I'm making my decrease stitch. Then I'm back to my yarn marker. I can go ahead and remove the yarn marker now. Then I can just make decrease stitches until I can't make any decrease stitches anymore. And then I'm going to slip stitch it closed. So now I'm going to go ahead and just slip stitch it closed. You can see how the opening is very small. What I do is I just skip the next stitch, go into the next stitch, then I just yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and then bring the yarn through both loops on the hook for a slip stitch. And then I just keep making slip stitches all the way around. Until the head of the cat is completely closed. One more should do it. Then I can go ahead and finish off. Just yarn over and pull enough yarn through to bury into your work. Then just take your tapestry needle, go right in where you finished off and come out anywhere. Then you can just trim the loose yarn end. Now we're ready to make the cat ears. To make the cat ears, go ahead and take your main color yarn. You're going to fold it over on itself to form a loop. Then take your crochet hook, go right through the loop, hold the base of the loop with your middle finger and your thumb. Then you're going to yarn over, turn the hook upside down, go through that loop for your slip knot. Go ahead and cinch down your slip knot. Then you're going to make a chain. We're going to make a chain of 7. Just yarn over, turn the hook upside down, go through the loop for 1, 2, and my last one. So a chain of 7. Then you're going to go into the second chain from the hook. So you take your crochet hook, go into the second chain from the hook. You're going to bring up a loop. You're going to make a single crochet. And then you're going to make a single crochet in every stitch back across. Then you're just going to turn your work. You're going to go into the next stitch over with your crochet hook. You're going to bring up a loop. You're going to make a single crochet. Then you're going to turn your work. You're going to go into the next stitch over. So now I have 1 single crochet. Go into the next stitch over, 2 single crochet, 3 single crochet, and the last stitch, 4 single crochet. Then you're going to turn your work again, and you can see how it's forming a triangle, which is what you want. Then you're going to go into the next stitch over for 1 single crochet, next stitch, 2 single crochet, next stitch, 3. So you can see how it's getting less and less for the stitches, and you're forming a triangle. Turn your work, go into the next stitch over for a single crochet, last stitch for a single crochet, turn your work, and then you're going to slip stitch into the next stitch. So go into the next stitch, yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and bring the yarn through both loops on the hook to form the tip of the triangle. Then you're going to finish off, just yarn over and just pull a little bit through to bury into your work. And then you're going to need 2 of the main color for the cat. So you're going to make 2 of them with the main color, and then you're going to make 2 of them with the inner white portion. So all 4 are made the exact same way. Now I'm going to show you how to crochet the 2 pieces together, and then all of the loose yarn ends are tucked on the inside of the ear. So just take the 2 pieces, and then you're going to put the loose yarn end on the outer part of the ear facing up. Same thing with the inner ear, just like this, and then tie a knot with the 2 loose yarn ends. Then you're going to take those 2 loose yarn ends and bring them to the inside between the 2 pieces. Take your crochet hook, go into that first stitch at the corner of the ear. Make sure you grab both pieces, the inner and the outer portion of the ear. Then you're going to take the main colored yarn. You're going to bring up a loop. Then you can go ahead and tie a knot. After you tie a knot, go ahead and take that loose yarn end and put that on the inner portion as well. Then you're going to go into the next stitch over, making sure that you go through both pieces, the inner and the outer, bring up a loop, and then make a single crochet. And then you're going to evenly space 1 single crochet in every stitch across the side of the ear. Then that last stitch on the side of the ear, go ahead and put 2 single crochet in the same stitch. Then take and turn, tuck those loose yarn ends into the inside of the ear, and we're going to work on the opposite side. So go into that next stitch, make 2 single crochet into the same stitch as we turn the corner. Then you can just make 1 single crochet in every stitch down the other side. And then when you get to that last stitch at the bottom, go ahead and place 2 single crochet into the same stitch. Then you can go ahead and finish off, just yarn over and pull enough yarn through to sew the ear onto the cat's head. Then you can take and tuck the rest of the loose yarn ends into the inside. Then your ear is ready to be sewn on to the cat. Make sure that you do that for both of the ears. Now we're going to sew the ear onto the cat. So just take your loose yarn end that you left for sewing, or just get the same colored yarn as the main color of the cat. And then I use the top magic circle as my guide. I usually line up the ear with this center magic circle, and I go 1 row down, and then that's where I'm going to go in. So you can see that the ear will be lined up right there. And then you want to go about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches in along the side. So once you have it lined up, you can check the 5 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then come out around that 5th stitch with your tapestry needle. And then you can see how it lines up. Then you're ready. I just hold my ear just like this. I go up through, and then I'm going to sew the back of the ear first. Hold it in place where you want it, and then just sew the back of the ear. Just go in and out with your tapestry needle and sew the ear in place. Now for the front of the ear, you could use a different colored, the same white colored yarn if you want to sew that in place. For mine, I'm just going to sew using the same colored yarn. I like to tie the knot in the back of the ear. I just go a couple of times tying a knot. Then you can take and bury the loose yarn end. It's getting really short. So then I just take, and you can go right through the ear if you want to with the loose yarn end. Let me do that again. For mine, I have to make sure, sometimes you'll have to go through the tapestry needle if it's too short. I have a little bit of a, I have a DMC yarn threader, also helps with this, getting the yarn through, and then just pulling the loose yarn end through if it gets too short, and then just trim the loose yarn end. Then you're going to sew the ear on the other side. Make sure that you have them lined up, and then sew it on the exact same way, making sure that the stitches and the distance from the center of the head are the exact same for both sides. This is what mine looks like after sewing the ears in place. Now we're going to start on the body. The body is started the same way. Your magic circle, and then 6 single crochet into the magic circle, and then 2 single crochet into every stitch around for a total of 12 stitches. You're going to make your increase rounds. We're going to make 3 increase rounds. The first one is 1 single crochet into the first stitch, and then 2 single crochet into the second stitch. Repeat that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker. So this is exactly what we did for the head, but I'm just going through it with you again for the body. Now for the next increase round, you're going to make 1 single crochet into 2 stitches, and then 2 single crochet into the third stitch. Then repeat that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker. Then go ahead and finish your last increase round of 1 single crochet into 3 stitches, and then 2 single crochet into the fourth stitch, and then come back. Now you're finished with your increase round, so we're not going to increase the number of stitches anymore. Now you're going to go ahead and take your yarn marker and move it up. Then you're just going to make 1 single crochet in every stitch around until you've completed 18 rounds. So 18 rounds of 1 single crochet in every stitch around. And remember, your stitch count needs to stay the same for each of the 18 rounds. And just in case you forgot, the stitch count is 30. So your stitch count should be 30 stitches. You should have finished 18 rounds, and this is how your work should look. Then go ahead and place the craft stuffing inside the body, and you could stuff more as you close. We're going to start our decrease rounds now. Just take and move up the yarn marker, and then just like we closed the head, then for the next decrease round, 1 single crochet into 2 stitches, and then your decrease stitch, repeating that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker. You can see how it's getting smaller and smaller, just like we did for the head. For the next decrease round, 1 single crochet into 1 stitch, and then your decrease stitch, repeating that pattern all the way around. Now you can go ahead and remove the yarn marker, and you can just make decrease stitches all the way around until you're almost closed, and then come back and I'll help you slip stitch it closed together. Now to slip stitch it closed, just skip a stitch, go into the next stitch over, yarn over and bring the yarn through both loops on the hook, and then you're just going to repeat that all the way around. And then once you finish your last slip stitch, then you're going to finish off. So just yarn over and pull enough yarn through just to bury into your work. And then go ahead, bury your loose yarn in just like you did for the head. Now you're going to take the cat head and the body. This is where I finished off and buried the loose yarn end. I'm going to use this for the front of the cat. Then you're going to take the cat head and the body, get your yarn, the same colored, main colored yarn on your tapestry needle, and then you're going to take the head and you're going to line it up with the magic circle on the body. If you want to have the head straight, just have the bottom of the head at the top of the magic circle on the body. So you can see how I lined it up. But for this cat, I'm going to turn the head and sew it on the same way. I just want the head looking to the side instead of straight. So then once you have the cat's head the way that you want it, then you just take your tapestry needle, you're going to go in through the back of the body, go up through the head towards the front of the cat. And then make sure you leave enough of a loose yarn end on the back for burying into your work. Then I'm going to go, I came out on the head, so I'm going to go back into the head and down into the body, and then back out right where I came in through the body with the initial yarn and the tapestry needle. Then I'm going to take and tie a knot with my loose yarn ends. After I tied a knot, then I'm just going to go right back through the body, out through the head, and continue sewing the head on by going in and out. I came out on the head, I'm going to go in through and out the body, and I'm just going to keep going all the way around. I went out through the body, so I'm going to go in through the body, around where I came out, and up through the head. And I'm just going to finish sewing the head in place. So I came up on the head, out of the head, back in through the head, and into the body. And I'm just going to keep sewing the head on until I have the head nice and secure. So you can have fun and sew the head on where the cat's looking different directions if you want. Or you can just have the standard where the head looks straight off of the body. So you can see how I have my head sewn on to the body and I have the head looking to the side. Then you just tie a knot and then bury your loose yarn ends the same way. Just come out anywhere after you bury it and then just trim it. To make the cat's feet, you're going to start with your white colored yarn. You're going to start with the magic circle, and you're going to place 6 single crochet into the magic circle. I'm going to go ahead and just do this with you. It's the same way that we did it before. Then you're going to go ahead and close up the magic circle. Then you're going to turn your work, and just like we did before, you're going to place 2 single crochet in every stitch around for a total of 12 stitches. Then you're going to make just 1 increase round. of 1 single crochet into the first stitch and then 2 single crochet into the second stitch. Repeat that pattern, 1 single crochet in the first stitch, 2 single crochet into the second stitch, all the way around back to the yarn marker. Then just take and move the yarn marker up, and then you're just going to make 1 single crochet in every stitch around for just 1 round. So only 1 round of 1 single crochet in every stitch. Then go ahead and move the yarn marker up. You're going to make 6 decrease stitches. I'm going to make these with you. You go into the next stitch over, bring up a loop, next stitch over, bring up a loop, yarn over, turn the hook upside down and go through all 3 for a decrease stitch. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and last one, 6. And you can see how it makes a little forefoot or the front of the paw. Then just 1 single crochet in your remaining stitches. Then take and move the yarn marker up. Now you're going to make 3 rounds of only 1 single crochet in every stitch. So 1 single crochet in every stitch for 3 rounds and then come back. After you finish 3 rounds of 1 single crochet in every stitch, go ahead and get rid of the yarn marker. Then you're going to take your crochet hook, you're going to go into the next stitch over, you're going to bring up a loop, then you're going to take your main colored yarn, you're going to loop the yarn and bring it through both loops, then you're going to chain 1, then you can go ahead and take and cut your previous color yarn. Then you can go ahead and tie a knot. Then, if you haven't done so already, you can tuck all of your loose yarn ends into the inside of the cat's foot. Then just take your crochet hook and you're going to make 1 single crochet in every stitch around with your new color. And keep making 1 single crochet in every stitch until you've completed 6 rounds. So 6 rounds of 1 single crochet in every stitch. After you finish the 6 rounds of 1 single crochet in every stitch, then you can go ahead and stuff the foot with craft stuffing. Make sure that you form the front paw. Get enough stuffing into that front paw. Then we can go ahead and close. You're just going to take and slip stitch it closed. So just go around skipping a stitch, going into the next stitch, yarn over and pull the yarn through both loops on the hook. Until it's completely closed. Then, this is my last one. Then you could take it and go ahead and finish off. Just yarn over and pull enough yarn through to bury into your work. Then go ahead and bury your loose yarn end. Now you could leave the cat's foot just like this, but I like to have the flattened look to the paw. So if you like that too, then I'm going to show you how to do that. Take your tapestry needle and put the white colored yarn or whatever yarn color that you used for the cat's foot. Then you're going to go from the bottom of the foot on the edge, because we're going to create 3 webs on the paw. So go into the side of the foot, come up on the top on that side to create the web on the side of the foot. Make sure that you leave a loose yarn end on the bottom for tying a knot. Then you're going to go right down the front, back in where you first went in, and come back up with your tapestry needle in the same spots. You're going to form a loop on the front of the paw and then just pull it snugly. Then go another time into the same spot with your tapestry needle, forming another loop, and pull that loop snugly. Then for the 3rd time, just go into that same spot, and then you're going to come up in the middle. So you're not going to go in the same spot, you're going to go in the middle. And then come up and pull. Whoop. Make sure your loose yarn end doesn't get caught up in there like mine. Pull that out. And then pull it snugly. Then now you're ready to go straight down the center. So you're going to go in the center, back out where you went in, down the center, forming that loop right along the center. Make sure you move the loop where you want it to fall on the paw, and then once you have it where you want it, then you could pull it snugly. And then you're just going to do that again one more time. Pull it snugly. Then go back in the same spot, and then you're going to come out on the other side to make the 3rd one. And then you have pulled the last loop on the front nice and snug. Then you're going to make the last loop on the side. Go twice. Then you can take and go, I'm going to go in through the top and back down to where my loose yarn end is with my tapestry needle. Then I'm going to tie a knot and then bury the loose yarn ends. And then you could see how you have the 3 webbing on the cat paw. Then of course you're going to need 4 paws for the cat. After you finish all 4 paws, you can go ahead and pick 2 of them for the front. Then you're going to get your same colored yarn on your tapestry needle. Go ahead and line up the paws. Make sure that you have the front facing forward, and then I go back about 3 rows from the front. And then about halfway, a little bit, I would say maybe from the top, about 3 rows down from the top, and then just center them on both sides. Then once you have them in place, go ahead and take your tapestry needle, and you're just going to go right through about a couple rows down, centered on the upper arm, and go through to the other side. Come out the same distance with your tapestry needle. Make sure you leave enough of a loose yarn end for tying a knot, and then you're going to go about a stitch over and then go back through to where you came out. Make sure you're about a stitch away from where you came out. And then you're going to go through one more time. So go through one more time. Then just move the arms to loosen up the body a little bit. Then you can go ahead and tie a knot. Then you would just go ahead and bury your loose yarn end. I go right in where I tied my knot and come out on the same leg. And then just trim the loose yarn end. Then you do the exact same thing for the back paws. And you can see how far I went back and below for the back paws. Make sure that the paws are facing forward. For the tail, you're going to place 6 single crochet into the magic circle. Then you're just going to make 1 single crochet in every stitch around until you've completed 8 rounds, or whatever size that you want for your tail. So for mine, I made a magic circle with 6 single crochet in it, and then I just placed 1 single crochet in every stitch around until I've completed 8 rounds. And then I also turned it inside out so that the loose yarn end will be on the inside. And then you just keep making. So here is my finished tail. I went ahead and slip stitched and finished off. Then just take your cat, get your tapestry needle, put that loose yarn end that you left for sewing, or get the same color yarn as the tail, and then just position the tail where you would like to sew it on. And then once you have it in position, then you just go into the body with your tapestry needle and then just sew it in place. Then you just sew it all around the base of the tail until it's secure onto the cat. Now I have the tail sewn on, so I'm going to show you how to make the decorations for the cat. For this cat, I'm going to add a bell, but you don't have to. This bell is from Creatology. It comes in a 60 pack, 12 millimeter, 0.4 inch. The tapestry needle, make sure that it'll fit through the opening on the bell. You can sew the bell on with a sewing needle and thread, but I like to use my DMC yarn threader and then use a tapestry needle that will fit right through the bell so I can use the yarn to sew it on. To sew the bell on, the first thing I'm going to do is just take my pink yarn. Actually, I'm going to use the purple yarn. So I have my purple yarn, just take and fold it over on itself, or whatever yarn color that you're choosing. Take your crochet hook, go right through the loop, hold the base of the loop with your middle finger and thumb, then just yarn over, turn the hook upside down and go through the loop for a slip knot. Now you're going to make a chain. I'm just going to show you 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. For my cat, I made a chain of 20. Then after I made my chain of 20, I went ahead and finished off. It's just yarn over and pull enough yarn through to sew the 2 ends together and to sew the bell around the cat's neck. The next thing you're going to do is just take the tapestry needle that you're using and your DMC yarn threader and just take and thread the yarn through. Then you're going to take the bell and then just take and bring that yarn through. Then you can take the cat, wrap the chain around the neck, and then you're just going to tie a knot. And then for my loose yarn ends, what I like to do, I'm just going to get my bigger tapestry needle, the larger one. Then I just take and put the loose yarn ends on each side and then just weave it through the chain only, not the cat, just the chain. And then I usually will go back to the other side too. Now if you're using your sewing needle and thread to sew the bell on, then you would just tie the chain around the neck like we just did, but then you would just sew the bell on afterwards. And then you have a nice clean finish and you can't see the loose yarn ends and the chain will still move back and forth. If you're making the scarf, I used my 6mm crochet hook and then I made a chain of 21. Then I held the last stitch or last chain and then chain 3. 1, 2, 3. That counts as your first double crochet for the next row. Then just make a double crochet. You yarn over, go into that same stitch you're holding, which is the 4th chain from the hook, bring up a loop, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over and go through 2, 2 loops remaining, yarn over and go through 2. And then you would just make 1 double crochet into every stitch back across. I'll make 1 more with you, yarn over, go into the next stitch, bring up a loop, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over and go through 2, 2 loops remaining, yarn over and go through 2. And then you would make 1 double crochet in every stitch back across. Then, when you're finished making 1 double crochet in every stitch, you can go ahead and finish off. Just yarn over and pull enough yarn through to bury into your work. Then you're just going to take your tapestry needle, get my larger one. Then just take and weave the loose yarn end into the scarf. And like I said, I like to go back a couple of times. Then you can cut your loose yarn end. Then you can take your scarf and just tie it around the neck. If you like your scarf to be a little bit longer, then your starting chain would be just a little bit longer. I made this one a little bit shorter. I want the bell to show too. So you can adjust it so that your bell will show in the front. And then you have your scarf. Now I'm going to show you how to make the flower. If you don't want the bell, you could also use you can sew on different things instead of a bell. This is just a Christmas light. And another thing you can do is just use a charm. So they have different charms that you could use also instead of a bell. For the flower, I'm going to show you how to make the plain flower. I used my 3.75mm crochet hook to make a chain of 4. Then just take your crochet hook, go back into that first stitch that you made, the first chain, and then it'll form a little U with the chain. You can take your loose yarn end and put that over to the side. Then just yarn over, turn the hook upside down and go through both loops for a slip stitch, and then you just form a circle. You're going to make a single crochet into the center of that circle. So go into the center of the circle, bring up a loop, 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, turn the hook upside down and go through both for a single crochet. Then you're going to chain 2, 1, 2, make another single crochet into the center of the circle, and then you're going to do that 4 more times. 1, 2, center of the circle for a single crochet. That's the second. 1, 2, single crochet into the center of the circle. That's 3. 1, 2. So this is the 4th time. Now on the 5th one, just chain 2 and then slip stitch into that first single crochet. So just yarn over and pull the yarn through both loops on the hook. Then you can go ahead and finish off. Just yarn over and pull enough yarn through to sew it onto your cat. Then you have the flower, and how I do it is I just sew it in the center when I sew it onto the cat. And this is what it would look like after sewing it, and then I would tie a knot on the back. But for this cat, I'm going to show you how to add a little button for the center of the flower. And this button is from Crafting with Buttons. Some of my leftover buttons. What I like about this button is my tapestry needle will fit right through the back, so I can sew it on with yarn. But of course I would need my DMC yarn threader again to do that. If you don't have one, you can just use a sewing needle and thread. I just like using my yarn threader, and I just think it makes it more secure. You just take your hook, go through the tapestry needle, and then you just bring your yarn through the eye of the tapestry needle. Then I just take and go down into the back of the flower. So I have the right side facing me. Then I'm just going to place my button right into the center. Then I can turn it over. Whoop. You can see the buttonhole or the button opening on the back for sewing. And then I'm just going to take my tapestry needle and just go through and sew the button to the flower. I only need to go through one time to get it to stay in the center, and then it's ready to be sewn on. So I just take the cat and then I just sew the flower where I want it on the cat. So here you can see that I'm going to go right in where I tied the knot and then come out anywhere on the back of the head to bury the loose yarn end. And then you just cut your loose yarn end. This is what the flower looks like when you're done. To make it an ornament, you would take the paw that you want to be hanging on the tree, go on the very bottom of the paw, go into one of the stitches with your crochet hook. You're going to get the same colored yarn. You're just going to bring up a loop. Then you're going to chain 1. And then tie a knot. Then you're going to make a chain of 8. There's 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I have a chain of 8. Then you're going to slip stitch. So go back in, forming a loop. Go back into the paw, yarn over, and then bring the yarn through both loops on the hook for a slip stitch. Then you're going to go ahead and finish off. Just yarn over and pull enough yarn through to bury into your work. Now you're going to tie a knot with your 2 loose yarn ends. You can see how you formed a loop on the bottom of the paw. Then take your tapestry needle, put it onto the loose yarn end, go in right where you tied a knot, and then come out anywhere to bury the loose yarn end. Then your cat is finished. So here's the one design, and then here is the purple design with the pink.